Good morning, world. August 14th, 2009. Sunny. Oregon isn't so sunny today. It's very gray. I want to talk about, John, my friend John, back there, also a Jerseyite. Wasn't from Audubon, but became a good friend of mine when I went to Germany, or about a year after I was there. John lives up in North Jersey. We became friends at the Wasserkuppe, and through the internet found each other, and we've stayed in contact the last few years. John has been very faithful to me, even with my shortcomings. But I'll talk to you folks about the military life and our little time in Germany. It was an exciting time in history, believe it or not. We were fighting the Cold War back in the early 60s. John and I were stationed at the Wasserkuppe near Fulda, Germany. It was right on the East German border. We were there together from about 65 to 67. And we were on top of a mountain, pretty isolated. We had a little local town to go to, but we made do with the NCO club and a couple of clubs down there in Gerschfeld, Germany. It was at the bottom of the hill. I got a cat running around the house right now like a mad person. But we had fun. I introduced John to the Beach Boys because the barracks would always be covered with my Beach Boys records playing because it's probably the only thing I had and what I liked best. But we were radar operators. At least I was. Yeah, John, he was a radar operator too. We were radar operators. We were controlling the Berlin corridor going into Berlin, and this was a time when there was many overflights of the border by the East Germans and or Russians, probably Russians, and they were always coming over and tinkering around on the border. And every time they did, we had to scramble fighters and go into a semi-battle mode and track them and scare them back in. And occasionally our commercial airplanes that had to stay in this very narrow corridor going into Berlin would stray off, or they would the fighters would come in there and harass them. And again, we were always in a pretty good battle posture there. And at any time there could be trouble. We're lucky that nothing big happened back then. And of course, all along the East German border, there was fences that divided the East, what was then West Germany, from the communist East Germany. And of course, the army controlled the border there. And we still had good fun. We partied. We got drunk. We did our guy thing there up on the coop, as we called it. Coop is actually a very historical place. It was a a glider school going way back. A very famous German aviator is Otto Lilienthal. He was experimenting with gliders back at the early days, the same time with the Wright brothers. He was experimenting with gliders, and he is a great contributor to early aviation. And he crashed his glider and was killed. And there's a monument to him right outside the gates to the compound. And I don't know whether he actually died there, but his tomb is right there on the coop, right inside of our barracks, as they were then. And of course, the place today is still a glider school, and now it's a tourist attraction for skiers. But as a glider school, it was used by the Luftwaffe to train their pilots back in World War II. And John, that's about the best I can do for the coop today, because I can't think of a whole lot of stuff we did up there besides go to work, run around the barracks in our skivvies, and then go to town and chase the girls and drink. And but we developed a lot of camaraderie. There are different people still in contact with each other, just as I am with a lot of my military friends. So you young people out there, if you're ever considering the military, go Air Force. Army guys even tell me, man, you guys had it made. It was more of a job than the military, and yeah, it was. We didn't have all that spit and shine, but I owe the military everything. I went in as a dropout from Audubon High School. I got my GED within 6 months, while my class of '66, while you were still, I think, sophomores, I already had my GED in hand. And then I turned that through the GI Bill into an associate's degree, a bachelor's degree, and then still used a little bit of the GI Bill to get my master's years later. I owe everything that I am, including meeting my wife, to the United States Air Force. I'm a very proud veteran. I'll be buried in a veteran cemetery. And I also am very thankful for the camaraderie I've been able to develop and keep with some of my fellow Air Force veterans that I've known from the different places I was stationed in my 8-year career. And John, you're right at the top of the list. So hopefully there will be some more neater stories later on. Oh, we'll have to talk about our trip to Hamburg in another one of these, where we were chasing the girls behind the green doors on New Year's Eve, 1965. Anyhow, that's all I can ramble on about today, about the military and my friend John back there in New Jersey. And so I'll close this now by saying, this is Gus Nording. Have a good day. Bye now.